Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup. This time for March 16th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. With that, let's dive right into computer and console role-playing game news. We'll start with Ikonai Island, an Earthlock adventure. While it has been available for the PC for a while now, it will be getting a console release on March 21st. It looks like it'll target the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S. It will include the various updates and improvements, as well as an island. What it is an island-themed spin-off to the turn-based RPG Earthlock, which I still need to get around to playing. Then the Grandia HD collection will be hitting the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on March 26th. They will be compatible with the later generation versions of those consoles, and the physical releases will be released as well. The collection is a set of remasters of the first two games in the Grandia series. Terra Memoria is set to launch on March 27th, targeting the PC, the PS5, and the Xbox Series X/S. As well as the Switch. It'll deal with a world where there's a shortage of magical crystals, and ancient robots have been reawakened. You control a party of 6 characters, each with their own story, and the game has crafting and building elements as well. Moonglow Bay is set to hit the PS4 and the PS5 as well as the Switch on April 11th. It has been available on the PC and Xbox platforms for a few years now. It is set in a Canadian coastal village where creatures have ruined the fishing trade and players have to start a business to revive the town. A platform RPG, Kien, will be releasing for the Game Boy Advance on physical cartridge in the second quarter of this year. It looks like it was originally developed back when the Game Boy Advance was still a modern console, but it remained unreleased, so it'll be interesting to see how this actually sits. Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, looks to release on the Nintendo Switch on May 23rd. It is a remaster of a GameCube-era game, second in the Paper Mario series, and I feel like I need to play those. I've heard good things about the Mario RPGs, but I've never actually sat down to play them. Crown Wars, the Black Prince, looks to have had its release date delayed until May 23rd. A strategy fantasy RPG, from what I understand. People in the know believe it'll probably need that time for patches and corrections to get it in good condition so it doesn't just, bomb on release. Supposedly a good game with some issues. Anyway, moving onward, Monster Hunter Stories Remastered looks like it'll be getting a release on June 14th. A 3DS era game. It will now target the PC, PS4, and the Switch. Monster Hunter Stories 2, which has been out on the PC and the Switch already, will be getting a PS4 release on that same day. Mighty Koi is looking to work on 2 games. The Night Wanderer and Thorgal are both RPGs in the early phases. Targeting the PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series X/S, no solid release has been set, although it looks like the Night Wanderer will be a Souls-like action-style game, and Thorgal will be a more classic action-adventure-style RPG. It looks like Thorgal will be based on a comic book of the same name, featuring a Viking warrior, while the Night Wanderer will be based on the book series Lord of the Ice Garden. As far as actual releases go, Empire: Earls of the Deep Earth was released. A strategy tactical RPG, and I think latest in the Empire series. It is set on an alternate timeline at the end of the 19th century. Subterrane Mines of Titans saw its release. It is a sci-fi survival RPG and has you awakening in a doomed mining camp where you must craft and research gear in order to survive overwhelming odds. Crystalla is a dark fantasy Souls-like that entered early access. You play a warrior blessed with the 6 magical specialties of the crystals in order to try to join the Raksaka warriors. Crypt of the Necromancer got a full release of its Synchrony expansion. The expansion has been in early access since 2022. It is now available on consoles as well as the PC, and they're still putting expansions for that game. That's interesting. The Veil, Shadow of the Crown got a release on PlayStation 4 and the Switch. It has been available on the PC and Xbox One for a while now. It is an audio-only RPG where you play a princess who has been blind from birth. Goblin Stone is a turn-based tactical strategy RPG with roguelike elements. You play a group of goblins who are attempting to survive in a world where their species has been hunted down. Persona 3 Reload got an expansion pass. It'll include the various waves of expansions for Persona 3 Reload. Finally, there's Pirate Dragons, which I only mentioned because it's really silly. You play a dragon during a time of sailing ships and piracy where you will grow your horde by battling the various ships, trading goods, or just robbing people. With that, let's take a look at tabletop role-playing game news. It looks like the Japanese tabletop role-playing game based on the Shin Megami Tensei series is getting an English translation. Called Shin Megami Tensei, the role-playing game, of course. Tokyo Conception is a subtitle, apparently. It looks like it'll be produced by Lion Wing Publishing and Atlas. Legendary Games has Mechanical Heroes available in print, suited for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It will offer new character options that focus on mechanical minions and technology. Actually, we're into the minor PDF releases here. AAW Games has Mini Dungeon number 301 of Bethan's Visional Vault, suited for characters of levels 11 and 12. It's another entry into their Mini Dungeon Adventure series. Dark Wizard Games has Funhouse Dungeon of the Puppet Jester, available in 5th edition and 1st edition versions. As well, it is suited for level 4 to 7 and has an entry into their maximum, and it is an entry into their Maximum Mayhem Dungeon series. Forgive me for stumbling over my words. I just woke up. A shimmering neon castle known as the Phantom Citadel sits on a lonely hill under a permanent spell of midnight. It is rumored to be filled with traps, toys, monsters, and riches. Actually, traps, toy monsters. Like monsters that look like toys. Okay, interesting. Laid Back DM has some entries into the Shot Glass Adventure series, the region setting Underworld, Realms of the Drouth, which offers a short region designed to be used with the adventures number 10 to 13. And then there are the adventures themselves, number 10, Trail of Madness, number 11, Saving Private Ryan, number 12, Temple Fugit, and number 13, Cross of Irony. The Lich's Dollhouse is a one-shot 5th edition adventure for low levels and is a level 1 characters which focus on a Lich's toy-like creations. What is it with evil wizards and toys this week? Anyway. The Black Ballot is an RPG setting and campaign. It is suited for 5th edition. It is a 10-chapter campaign made alongside a metal opera album. So, interesting. Memento Mori is a campaign setting from Luna Publishing for 5th edition. It is a more Victorian, gothic, dark fantasy setting, where magic is evil and science is on the rise. Beneath the Surface is a collection of 10 medium-sized cave encounters for 5th edition. It is available in print. Highway to Hell is a 5th edition offering that includes 6 chambers of infernal encounters that are basically a series of hell-based boss battles. Mythological Creatures is a monster compendium for 5th edition, which offers an extensive collection of mythological creatures designed for any campaign, all statted, of course, for 5th edition. It looks like it'll include 300 monster stat blocks drawing inspiration from legends and myths across the world. The Prayer's Handbook is a meta-domain cleric which bends the fourth wall. It's meant to be fun and somewhat powerful, and it includes guides to play the cleric, new spells and cantrips, new magic items, and even new creatures. Archives of the Everrealm is a set of 5th edition add-ons that can be used to modify combat. There are mass combat rules, armor score rules, and alternate combat rules. Gaming Brew has the Kindred Soul Warlock subclass. It involves a warlock whose pact is with a partner who has passed away. That may be their romantic partner, or a family member, or whatever. Just somebody who has moved on to the afterlife. RPG Gamer has a set of post-apocalyptic character classes using 5th edition rules, similar to their prior offerings for other different modern genres like modern horror and so forth. They have the Techmancer, Mutationist, Cyberneticist, Gladiator, and Survivor. Frog God Games has Tome of Horrors, Enemies of the Valiant, is a bestiary that includes more than 200 creatures as well as class-based characters statted out for a Black Flag role-playing game, and of course the Tales from the Valiant from Kobold Press. Cubicle 7 has a Broken Weave core rulebook. It's a post-apocalyptic fantasy campaign setting for 5th edition and similar systems. It is a realm where the weave is unraveled and the gods have died, the lands are shattered, and those who remain struggle to survive. Catacombs of the Forgotten King is a Shadow Dark RPG adventure that is a classic dungeon crawl for mid-level characters. It revolves around a crypt full of treasures, unique monsters, and encounters. Necrotic Gnome has Old School Essentials Adventure Anthologies 1 and 2. Each one contains a selection of short adventures for Old School Essentials for a variety of levels. Montezuma's Revenge is an adventure for Old School Essentials. It also requires the Makahuatl as well as Modern Necessities, 2 add-ons for Old School Essentials. It is set in a modern day where you play a group of mercenaries hired to protect the participants of a spiritual session moving across Mexico after a secret hidden centuries ago. Fire and Fangs is a weird stone and sorcery adventure for Old School Essentials. It's a supplement that introduces new rules, character options, and setting information. It also includes an introductory adventure set in a mythical Stone Age. The Crippled Snake is a first edition and similar OSR-style adventure set in an explorable and well-characterized region where you face off against a terrible master of a local peninsula. It is available in base, deluxe, and king editions, as well as Italian as well as English. The Wizard Van is an OSR-style rules light adventure zine set in a psychedelic power metal fantasy realm inspired by various album covers. Heartbane for Against the Dark Master is an introductory scenario that features a race against time when the hero's allies have been struck by an arrow coated with Heartbane poison. Maze's Fantasy Role-Playing, Module 20, Den of the Chosen, is an adventure for, of course, the Maze's RPG. This one deals with a nearby burrow of dire rats recently overrun by a colony of snakefolk. Underworld for Dragonbane is a collection of 3 adventures, each one featuring a demon, along with notes about exploring the underworld, suggested links to the Misty Vale campaign, and so on. Brimstone is an heroic and deadly fantasy role-playing game with a character creation that involves producing the character's past life, background, and connections with other party members, a rules-light and free-flowing approach to tactical combat, and similar ideas. Toompunk, the Mausoleum Edition, is a lo-fi rules-light RPG set in a world of tomb raiding adventurers, armored skeletons, dangerous cultists, and more. It is effectively the second edition of that particular game. The Ruins of Shay Manor is an adventure for Savage Worlds set in Odysseys and Overlord's second edition setting, where the adventurers are sought to help legitimize a claim to the Shamer mines. Legacy Role-Playing Game is an advanced RPG that is set to be versatile with character customizations, over 20 archetypes, over 100 techniques, with the objective being to leave a legacy with the characters meant to change the world around them. What's Old is New Starter Set Rulebook is now available in a digital edition. The box set includes the rulebook, 3 adventures, 3 double-sided battle maps. It's PDF, so I guess. Various tokens, pre-generated character handouts, and so on. The Iron Law is a Forged in the Dark RPG set in a city where the chosen are spared from the flooding of the world, have been stuck under the God King's Iron Law for 5 centuries. The characters, riddled with insurmountable debts, must fight their ongoing fate. Raven is a Gothic horror RPG inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's works. Set in a fictional world of Gothic horror and cursed magic, it is designed to allow for Poe-style stories. There's also the adventure compilation, Tenebrous Cats and Forgotten Tombstones, which my text-to-speech put down as 10 of us cats for some reason. Okay. Victorian Hero is an heroic role-playing game set in the Victorian era, available in print. It is based on the Champions and Hero systems. The Hedge from Onyx Path is suited for the Chronicle system and details the Hedge with its various groves, rules for hedge sorcery, the dreaming roads, the bastions that connect them, and so forth. Cthulhu Unleashed is an offering compatible with basic role-playing game system and Call of Cthulhu. It features modern characters in the digital age who uncover otherworldly elements. Star Trek Adventures, the Federation Klingon War, is a tactical campaign for Star Trek Adventures, set, of course, during the Federation and Klingon War. Dune, Fall of the Imperium, is a supplement for Dune that offers a campaign set during the events of Frank Herbert's novel Dune, with elements of that story actually directly incorporated into it so you can actually interact with it. The Home Handbook is a tiny super source book focused on young adult and teen superheroes with new rules and setting material devoted to younger superhumans. Finally, there is the Spearchild core rulebook. It is a universal pen and paper role-playing game meant for multidimensional adventures that can span several worlds, with players running a character on each separate world that are connected to their other characters, so you can advance the story on multiple worlds, which is an interesting concept. With that, we'll take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so, no guarantee of receiving a product mentioned here is not endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. Far Out looks like it'll be a, quote, intergalactic pizza delivery RPG, unquote. It's a pretty basic old-school inspired RPG with turn-based combat. It looks like you'll be set to deliver pizza to various places throughout the galaxy. I'm trying to cover some more of the console and computer crowdfunding campaigns. It's just that they're of such weird quality mix. So many of them are just random RPG Maker games. Anyway, onwards towards tabletop crowdfunding, Pirate Rules will be a selection of additional rules. For 5th edition, it will be designed for pirate-themed campaigns, including an infamy system, rules for scars and mutilations, officer roles, ship rules, etc. Separately, Razan's Adventures is looking to fund Ghost Pirates of Marion Bay, a 5th edition module dealing with ghost pirates, a haunted ship, sea monsters, and more, all around the Lost Caves set around Marion Bay. Blood on the Trail will be a one-shot 5th edition adventure involving overland travel. It'll have at least 2 encounters to deal with on the road, including new monsters, and be useful in pretty much any campaign that requires an overland travel, just to spice it up. Adventures of Tisharia will be a selection of one-shots for 5th edition set in the continent of Tisharia. Suited for levels 1 to 3, it'll include 4 adventures. Luna Publishing has Clockwork Carnage, a set of quick adventures for 5th edition. It looks like there will be 3 Clockwork horror-themed short adventures with generic 5th edition compatibility as the goal. The side quest will be a book of quests for 5th edition suitable for levels 1 to 15. The collection will include quests that can be dropped into any campaign. Arcanus Codex of Adventures Volume 2, The Fortress of Secrets, will include a mini-campaign set in the Arcanus setting that will be suited for levels 4 to 9 of 5th edition characters. The Arcane Realms looks to be an epic fantasy setting for 5th edition. It will include new monsters, subclasses, magic items, spells, races, and backgrounds with much more in over 25 quests. Xander's Guide to Zombie Hunting will be a 5th edition supplement with new subclasses, undead creatures, spells, magic items, and more mean to face off against zombies or, just generally deal with them. Flavor Text Adventures is looking to fund a few more offerings. They consist of 5th edition material that features monster-themed recipes for real-life dishes, but also including 5th edition compatible content. Breath of Life, the Beguiler, looks to be a 20-level spellcasting class that's a revision of the old classic 3.5 class with stats for Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition as well as 5th edition conversions. A catalog of consumables looks to be a general tabletop role-playing game resource that will list a wide variety of wondrous and unique potions, poisons, and various remedies. Big Empty Blue looks to be a set of 2 graphic novels as well as 15 plus 5th edition resources set around a science fantasy universe based on an ocean planet. It looks like the game material will include things like adventures, subclasses, races, merchant and NPCs, many magic items, monsters, and so on. Exhuming John Barleycorn will be a 3rd level adventure for DCC RPG, set in the Shutter Mountains, a horror-themed setting. It deals with a strange magical creature up on Black Lion Mountain. BX Advanced Bestiary Volume 2 looks to be the 2nd in a series of monsters compatible with old school essentials and similar systems. This volume will cover monsters starting with E through K, and it looks like there'll be a number of classic monsters included. Philip Reed has Deck of Old School Encounters Set 3, another set of 72 more random encounter cards for general fantasy RPG use. Trollord Games had Gary Gygax's World Builders Archives. It looks like it will be a collection of older material from Gary Gygax, now reprinted. It'll include things like Living Fantasy, Essential Facts, and things, Pantheons, and so forth. It's basically a series that were conceived during Gary's last years as a collection of role-playing game aids designed to create settings, adventures, and worlds, in which he either wrote, co-authored, or just edited and curated the content for. I remember reading some of these back in the day. They were actually really neat. It looks like Zweihander will be getting a reforged edition. It'll be a new version of the Dark Fantasy game with revised combat, revised races, and so much more. Sundered Isles will be an adventure expansion for Ironsword and Starforge, set in a world of seafaring adventure. Will include setting details, gameplay options, and so forth. Tales from the Terror Tomb will be an RPG meant for easy and low prep evenings of play based on old horror movies and horror comics. It'll be influenced by things like old horror anthology styles of Tales from the Crypt, Creepshow, that sort of thing. Finally, Story Bake looks to be a tabletop RPG system about being a magical baker, and that's about what it says on the tin. Play a magical baker. Okay, with that, I will wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for March 16, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, give feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribe Star, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.